All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meeting of Wednesday, July 24th, 2019. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Shannon, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Latchford?
Here.
Mr. Freeze?
Here.
Mr. Lang?
Here.
Ms. Esbar?
Here.
All right, the minutes from our meeting of Wednesday, July 10th, 2019 were in our packet, so unless there are any changes, corrections, do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
We'll move on to old business and some project updates. Jeremy?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Regarding the ESG project updates, not much has changed since our last meeting. They have begun and are currently installing the solar panels on top of the senior center. So you will notice that there's some like cones and some flags around the roof. If you have been down there by the senior center, we do have a trailer that's just into Fetter's Alley that they are utilizing as well for some of their equipment storage. But that is ongoing. Should hopefully wrap up in the next week or two, hopefully. And then Patriot Park, the fence is up to kind of protect the panels or to keep people away from the panels. But the actual panels have not begun yet, and we're hoping that happens or at least starts in the next couple weeks. So that is the extent of where we're at on that project. And again, everything is completed outside of the solar panels, and still waiting to hear on the process of the lights themselves of going to the City Council for additional funding or to see if there's still funding left in what the original project has. That we can at least make an amendment and address at least some of the lights or some of the certain fields. And then regarding the old Lighthouse Museum project, again, this will continue to remain on your agenda moving forward for public outreach purposes, but it is in the design phase. We just, at your last meeting, approved the contract for that, and it is still, at this point, it's early, but it's on schedule to be on your November 6th meeting for approval of the design and engineering of those exterior the exterior renovation of the old Lighthouse Museum. And I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you, Jeremy. Any questions? Should we keep this old Lighthouse Museum project on the agenda?
Yeah, I talked to
There's really no progress, or we don't expect anything between now and November.
Sure, great question. I did have that same question for Shannon today. It is with the grant. It is imperative that we at least keep it on the agenda to at least report on it and where it stands. So that way, if there is a change or if there is something to report, but even if there is no change, to keep it on the agenda just for public outreach purposes is a part of that grant. So we do want to leave it on through the project.
Very good. Thank you, Jeremy. All right. I don't think there's any tabled business, correct?
No, sir.
All right. We will move on to new business. And the first item is the 2019 fall softball entry packet and fees. Hello.
Good evening, Park Board. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Well, good. How are you?
Good. I am here tonight to request approval of the 2019 fall softball entry packet. The rules and the fees have all stayed the same as spring 2019. The fee will be $400 for the men's team, $350 for co-ed, $350 for big bat co-ed. Umpires will get paid $25 a game, $10 an hour for the director, and $9 an hour for the supervisor.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Abigail?
I believe, just for clarification purposes, that the fees that you presented are the same as they were in 2018 for the Fall League?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, do we have a motion to approve the 2019 fall softball entry packet and fees?
I would be happy to make that motion that we okay the 2019 fall softball entry packet as you have described it this evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, next is the zoo animal acquisition request. Welcome.
Hi. So I'm here to ask tonight if we can bring in, it's a white belly stork, It's the first time in over 35 years, for my time, that we've had a stork at the zoo. Our goal is always to change up the exhibits to make it more interactive, more lively. So the addition of a bigger bird in the aviary would make the exhibit just pop a little bit more, especially the coloration of that bird. He's at no cost, being donated by the Knoxville Zoo, which is an AZA accredited zoo. So by bringing him in, it's a good mark on the zoo, the fact that an AZA zoo is willing to donate to a small zoo like us. The only cost would be the transportation of the bird to the zoo, which would be picked up by the Zoo Society. And his diet is the same what we feed the other birds, so there's no increased cost with that.
Thank you for that. And again, thank you for the detailed explanation and all the photos. It certainly helps.
Questions?
And-
Great.
I just have a quick question, more for curiosity than anything. Is there any type of an introduction period that you have to do with birds like we have to do with some of the other animals?
Right now he's under quarantine at Knoxville Zoo because they're redoing their exhibit. So he would basically come in, would do our quick physical vet exam, and then he'd go out to the aviary. But birds are different from most animals, especially when you have counterparts of the same species. There isn't that aggression that would pop up. So
Thank
he'd be on display this season still.
Oh, great.
Just out of curiosity, I don't think I've ever actually seen a stork except in cartoons and on birth announcements.
Yeah, this one won't bring babies, so.
How tall will that bird be?
This one is about 29 to 35 inches tall.
Okay.
So
Thank
smaller than the eastern crown crane we have now, which is more of a ground dweller.
Mhm.
This guy would be up high with the ibis. So.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I have a motion to approve the addition of the stork for the Michigan City Zoo.
I would be happy to make that motion that we do okay the request for this new addition, which happens to be the stork.
I would second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, you're also the next item on the agenda, which is the approval of a golf cart donation to the zoo.
Yep. We were looking for another golf cart. We have golf carts designated for animal use. So this cart would be donated to the zoo from the Port Chrysler Dodge dealership. And we would add a seat to the back and be designated just for hauling people, senior citizens, emergencies, school groups, also used for the parade and stuff. So it would just be designated for people use only. So it's not going to cost the zoo anything but pickup and the additional bed on the back, which we would take out of our regular operation budget.
Great, thank you. And I think you also mentioned it also comes with the appropriate charging mechanism.
Yes. That was a have to. But yeah, they used it in the Port County Fair this year. They had no issues with it. They were going to sell it for Legacy Hills Golf Course. They decided that we were a better avenue to go for a donation,
Fantastic.
which we appreciate.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I just think it's really great that they thought of the zoo. That's,
So do we.
yeah, absolutely.
I think it's just a continuation of what we've seen with the partnerships and friendships and cooperation that you've built and fostered over time with the local community. And it continues to pay dividends both ways. So thank you for your constant outreach.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There are no other questions or comments. What's the board's recommendation?
I make a motion that we approve of the golf cart donation, and I think its designated use is wonderful, and will probably even bring more people to the zoo.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Good luck. All right, next item on the agenda is resolution number 891, honoring Carl Swenson with the Carl Swenson Field.
Thank you. Just as a brief introduction to this resolution for the board and for the public as well, we were approached by the family of Mr. Carl Swenson about the possibility of looking into some type of recognition at one of our parks or on a ball field, or kind of just looking at some different ideas. And when you peel back all the layers and do the research on Mr. Swenson, or Coach Swenson, as a lot of people know him or refer to him as, that he's very deserving of some type of an honor through the Michigan City Park Department and in the city in general as a whole. Currently, 4 of our 5 ball fields, our ball diamonds out at Patriot Park, have names on them, or designated names in honor of certain people. We have a Joe LaRocco Field, Jerry Carson's Field, Banwart Field, and Joe Doyle Field. Are those 4 fields that have been already named. Our 5th field out there we've always termed Duneland Field. So it hasn't really had a specific name to it or anything necessarily attached or associated with it. So in lieu of this proposed resolution to be considered by the board this evening, if approved, we would need to simply order a sign, communicate with the family, order a sign, but probably saying Carl Swinson Field, established 2019, which again would match our other signage and what we've done for the other fields, and then have it installed, which wouldn't take probably a few weeks between production and getting that installed. So again, just wanted to have a brief introduction, and at this point I'll turn it over to Mr. Lashford.
Thank you, Jeremy. I will, unless there's an objection, I'll just read Resolution 891 in its entirety. All right, a resolution honoring the official service of Carl Swinson and dedicating a baseball field at Patriot Park in his honor. Whereas the Michigan City Park and Recreation Board, at its regular meeting of July 24, 2019, unanimously adopted the following resolution in honor and appreciation of the many years of outstanding and meritorious service to the city of Michigan City by Carl Swinson. Whereas Carl Swinson resided in Michigan City for over 58 years and served on the Michigan City Common Council, the Michigan City Area School Board, was president of the local Catholic Youth Organization, was a recipient of the State of Indiana General Assembly House Resolution number 15 memorializing Carl Swinson, and who is committed to bettering the lives of youth and citizens of Michigan City. Whereas Carl Swinson was a player on the Michigan City Whitecaps and was owner-manager of the Michigan City Saints baseball team. Whereas Carl Swinson instilled a love of baseball in generations of young people of Michigan City by coaching and mentoring numerous baseball teams, including Michigan City Elston, Michigan City High School, and the Park and Recreation Junior and Senior Leagues in his entire life as a resident of Michigan City. Whereas Carl Swinson was an inspiration and leader to countless young people in Michigan City who will be fondly remembered for his love of baseball, his infectious personality, and his fundamental kindness and charity towards others. Whereas it is deemed by this board to be appropriate that Carl Swinson be honored for his innumerable accomplishments and contributions, and that this board, this department, and on behalf of the city, take this opportunity to express its appreciation to Carl Swinson for all his outstanding efforts and leadership. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this board, and that this board does hereby express its appreciation of the outstanding efforts and achievements of Carl Swinson by naming the Southwest Baseball Field at Patriot Park in his honor, which shall hereafter be known as Carl Swinson Field, and by spreading this resolution to the record in the permanent archives of this department. Dated Michigan City, Indiana, on this 24th day of July, 2019. And with that, I would ask if there's anyone from Carl's family that would like to make a comment. You're more than welcome to. And if you please step to the microphone. And please just state your name and address for the record. And welcome.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Pam Clarkson. I'm here representing the family of Carl Swinson. I'm his daughter, and I know that some of you know him very well. And I just want to say my appreciation for you doing this for him. It doesn't go unnoticed, all of your hard work. Sometimes I think you guys don't get enough credit, and my father knows, being on boards and working for the city, that we truly appreciate your service. And I just wanted to thank you for giving my father this great honor, and my family will be so happy to know that he'll continue to be a part of Michigan City baseball forever, and it's truly appreciated. And I didn't think I'd get emotional, but I did. So that he would be very, very happy, and he's looking on us now with some choice words, I'm sure. But we truly, truly appreciate all you do, and our family will always be grateful for you doing this for him. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's well deserved. So unless, are there any comments or questions?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment. I can remember Swin's when he played, and then I left Michigan City for 10 years for school and service. Came back and started coaching at the new high school, and met up with Carl in a different light, in as much that we were both coaches at this time. All I can say is that it was really a pleasure to work with Carl. I coached against him, I coached with him, developed a nice friendship. I probably learned more than the kids did about pitching. I was a catcher, so kind of dumb guy, put the stuff on and get behind the plate. But I really learned a lot from Carl about pitching, and which helped as a catcher, but it also helped as a coach. I can't think of an individual who dedicated more hours of his life to baseball and the youth in Michigan City than Carl did. And I think this is a tremendous honor, well deserved, and earned through very hard work.
Thank you, Phil.
I just have one question. I know, Jeremy, you mentioned that all it would take would be the purchase of a sign or a plaque for the field. Do you know if there would be any official dedication ceremony that would be planned?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think depending on or assuming approval this evening, what I would like to do is reach out to the family, Pam, get with you guys, and once we're ready to, and that is the sign is installed, is do some type of a get media out there, do a picture, do some type of a ribbon cutting, if you will, but something that not just we put up a sign, but we actually memorialize and have some type of a ceremony or a dedication on site at Patriot Park. That would be my hope and my goal, but wanted to get through this evening and then maybe work out details with the family.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Looking at the resolution, he has a storied history. He's an amazing man, and he was 80 years old and had a 15-month battle with leukemia, and that is what his demise was. But his impact on Michigan City is fantastic, and I know there are a lot of people who will deeply miss him, as you stated. God bless him.
Thank you, Mr. Lang. With that, do we have a motion to approve resolution number 891 honoring Carl Swenson with the Carl Swenson Field?
I'd feel a great honor to make a motion to accept this resolution honoring Carl Swenson and his baseball achievements.
I'll be happy to second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right. Any other new business tonight, Shannon?
No, sir.
We will move on to reports of officers. Jeremy?
Thank you. And again, Pam, I will reach out to you, and I also want to point out, obviously, all the accolades of Mr. Swenson around Michigan City, but it has carried on because the Clarkson family was a huge part of our youth baseball league for many years while their boys played. And even our youth basketball league, and Pam even got out there, coached, and rubbed a few elbows. So again, it's kind of in the family. So again, I want to thank you as well for your dedication to the park department and to our community as well, you and your family. So thank you very much. But we will be in touch and set something up in the very near future. Thank you very much. And just continue on with the superintendent's report. Just want to mention to the park board the Millennium Plaza landscaping is done. It has been done for a couple weeks. We were a little concerned during our heat wave. We were having some irrigation issues. If you have come across the bridge and notice some of the brown grass, we've been working very diligently to get that back. We've actually been on top of the irrigation itself, been putting a fire hose on it every morning, trying to bring it back. Just because it just got scorched there. So again, we do water it, but there are, we can't water it all day, every day, because there is some activities that do happen in Millennium Plaza, and we get yelled at when we turn the sprinklers on people. But again, we are some of the plants too. We're suffering a little bit, but we did some tweaks with the irrigation. What ended up happening is that the new mulch was put on pretty thick, and it covered up some of our irrigation heads. So we've had to go in there and make some adjustments. We didn't realize it until after that hot weekend, real hot weekend, first weekend we had. So again, made some adjustments, but I'm really happy with it, and it's still going to fill in some more. So if you've seen it, I think it'll start and it'll eventually get there. It just isn't there yet where we quite want it. But I'm really happy with the project itself, and I think the board will be as well. And then sticking in Millennium Plaza, there have been some times, different days that the fountain has stopped working. We could potentially be in a predicament here soon that we're going to have to look at spending some money if we want to restore that fountain. We are band-aiding it almost on a daily basis to have it continue to run. The wind meters, when I think it was supposed to be like if it gets above 20 or 25 miles an hour, the fountain was supposed to shut off. Well, it's not doing that now. Now it's spraying everywhere. So we're battling it. We're doing the best we can, but there have been times where it's shut off, and then we've had to contact Marcus Electric because of some electrical issues. So just want to make you aware if you do receive, hey, or come down by the park, like, how come the fountain's not on? It's a beautiful summer day. But we usually are able to address it as quickly as possible and get it back up and running. But I just want to make you and the public aware of that because we have been receiving calls when it is not working properly. On July 16th, I attended the City Council meeting regarding the funding, the $125,000 that we are looking to fund the Michigan City Golf Course to ensure that we are not in the red. Again, worst case scenario, come the end of 2019. I want to also thank Councilman Dabney for the support of being a sponsor on that ordinance. Second reading and the public hearing on that ordinance and funding request is on Tuesday, August 6th, and then potential third reading 2 weeks after that. So just want to keep the board up to date on where we're at with that. There were some comments made by the public after I was asked questions that evening, and as well as later on in the meeting concerning the golf course, and then the zoo was brought in as well. And I would be happy to discuss with anybody who has a specific question about that if they ever want to bring it to me. So I just want to make sure that that is out there for the public as well. But it's a non-reverting budget, and we cannot operate in the red. It's pretty cut and dry, pretty simple. So I just want to bring that up to the board as well. And again, if the board wants to attend on August 6th, I'll be at that meeting, so feel free to come with me. It's usually a good time. Regarding beach conditions and our Washington Park lifeguards, we've had a rough couple weeks in Washington Park. And first and foremost, I want to say that overall I'm happy with the job that the Washington Park lifeguards are doing. They are tasked with a lot of responsibility, especially a lot of responsibility for high school and college age kids. So overall, again, very happy with the job they are doing. But as I think you guys know me or getting to know me with new board members, we don't like to settle. We always look to do more if possible, if we have the resources to do so. So with that, I have reached out and have been having conversations with the Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project as well as the sure I get this right, the Great Lakes Water Safety Consortium's Lifeguard Committee, and they have even offered me a seat on that committee. So I'm interested in possibly moving forward with that relationship and getting involved a little more there. And the whole goal and the hope is behind it at the end of the day is if you visit Michigan City or Washington Park Beach, or you go up the coast into Porter County, Lake County, or even into Illinois and Michigan, that we have the same signage, that we have the same flag system, that the message is the same. So that way, anytime anyone comes and visit anywhere, we would hope the Great Lakes, but at least in our region in Lake Michigan, that same message and signage appears, and hoping that we are getting that same information across to the general public. This past week, it was Monday, we had one of the most fierce wave conditions I've probably seen in the middle of July here. And we've seen it in the wintertime, we've seen it in kind of off months, but not in July. It was very interesting to see it the way it was. And I had a couple of lifeguards telling me, or specifically my head lifeguard saying the 6 years I've been here, I've never experienced anything like that. One of our lifeguards is 250 pounds, and it broke him at his knees. So that the lake is dangerous. It is not anything to be messed with or taken lightly. Please, if you are visiting Washington Park, or anywhere on the Great Lakes, adhere to the warnings and educate yourself when you're upon entering the park prior to entering the water. You can come down to Washington Park and have a wonderful day. You can be around this area and have a great day without even getting in the water. And it not only puts you at risk, but also puts lifeguards at risk, or Good Samaritans who might try to come and assist if there ever is an incident. So it was, again, lifeguards have been doing a great job. That we've increased our walking patrols. We are now making more announcements on our PA system. They're making announcements when they leave for the day, for those on the beach that are in range of listening to and hearing the PA system, so that it is announced that they leave daily. When the lifeguards go off duty, automatically at 5 o'clock during the week and 6 o'clock on the weekends, the digital signage automatically changes to say no lifeguard on duty. So that has been pre-programmed to do that. So we are doing more as a city or as a park system down on the lakefront in Washington Park than we have ever done as far as notification. Again, I don't think that that's we're doing enough, because you always want to do more. But at the end of the day, we need those who enter our park to adhere to those warnings that we are posting. So again, I thought it was important that I'd speak a little bit about that, because there has been some social media posts, there has been some things said or implied that we weren't doing enough, or the lifeguards weren't doing enough, things of that nature. And I do take that a little bit to heart, probably more so than I should. But I think it's important that the message is out there, that we are, this is what we're doing, this is what is in place, and this is what you need to look for when you come to the beach. I did speak to someone who was down at the park late Monday night after hours, just going for a walk, and there were families with their kids in the water. And even going up and speaking to them, they weren't aware of the warnings. They weren't aware that we were flying a red flag. They didn't even really pay attention to see the digital signage that was right there. So it's just important to be aware of your surroundings and aware of what we have instilled and what we are doing here down in the park. So I thought that was important to bring up this evening. With that, next week is our week. It's Michigan City's week, and that's the way I look at it. Collectively, between the Great Lakes Grand Prix and the Taste of Michigan City, we have a lot going on. So our staff is ready to go. From that standpoint, we'll start set up early next week and be ready with the boats coming in. They're coming from St. Clair, Michigan this year, so it's a fairly short track down for them. Some of the boats are going to be getting in here as early as Monday. But at that point in time, B&E is going to be storing some of those boats or having a place for them. We're looking at not having them in the park to probably starting Wednesday, which we are ready for. We're going to have the park shut down as of Tuesday night. Wednesday would allow the space open for the boats and then to come in. Vendors set up, things of that nature, with vendors coming in Thursday, and then I think the shirt vendors and some of the other vendors will come in Friday morning. But there will be racing Saturday and Sunday this year. If I understand correctly, they're doing more time trial type races, and the jet skis on Saturday, and then the actual races themselves will still be held on Sunday. So we're expecting 2 full days from a crowd standpoint, August 3rd and 4th. We're really looking forward to it. It's really good to put our city on showcase, such as with an event such as this, and then the Taste of Michigan City, obviously Friday and Saturday. The boat parade will still happen on Saturday evening. We're just trying to figure out with the expanded event how all the boats are getting through the parade, and then where some of them are going to have to come back into the park and won't be able to stay downtown. But I know that's something that the CVB is working with the police department on as far as staging for that. But again, really looking forward to it. This year, one of the new pieces to it is we are doing on Wednesday, July 31st, we're doing a golf outing at Michigan City Golf Course for the boat race. Geico and Jimmy John's boat, at least those two, I have confirmed that they will be out at the golf course, and they will set up their boats at the golf course. We're kind of right around the 15 team mark. We think we're going to get up to 18, maybe plus, which is really good for a first year event. Chris and Jared at the golf course have been phenomenal with kind of leading the charge on the registration and taking everything in for that. But again, we have whole sponsors. It's $400 for a team and $100 for a whole sponsor if you're still interested. And Jimmy John's, our local Jimmy John's, as there's a Jimmy John's boat, will be providing the food for the outing. So it's really cool, really good partnership. Really, again, really good for our community, and really looking forward to hosting everyone at the Michigan City Golf Course. Oh, yes, thank you. And the Reigns of Life is the beneficiary for the event, so all proceeds will be donated to the Reigns of Life of LaPorte County. So thank you for reminding me. So again, not just a fun time, not showcasing Michigan City, showcasing our golf course, but also benefiting a really, really good cause in our community. And with that, the only other thing regarding vandalism is there was a graffiti in the Fetters Alley men's restroom, and it was about $100, with just cost of material to repair and paint the walls and the stalls. With that does conclude my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you, Jeremy. Any questions? I just have one. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, after you.
I only have one comment. It's aggravating to me, as it is to Jeremy, to see we have 6 digital signs going constantly, and for people to say I didn't notice what the warning was. And even if you read them, walking out on the pier and it says stay off the pier, and of course the east-west pier is safe, there's a beach there, but the north-south pier is the one that can be dangerous. And to go out to the end of the east-west pier and see many, many fishermen and people walking around the barricades, even when the sign says, stay out of the water, stay off the pier, it boggles my mind that so many people think that those signs are meant for someone else. And it's just a frustrating thing, and I have no answer for it. It's frustrating for you. And to see 2 lives lost, what a tragic thing when those young people were in the water, no lifeguards on duty, signs that said stay out of the water, and 2 of them lost their lives. It's a very tragic thing, and I don't know what you do to stop people from disobeying. Sorry for the rant. But,
I was follow up with that. Just, Jeremy, you should be proud of the efforts that you've made in order to heighten awareness through all the items that you mentioned, including the signage. Because even though we've had 2 tragic deaths, you don't know how many people those do adhere, read, and don't go in the water because of the efforts that you've made. And you'll never know. But please try not to get too discouraged and keep your efforts in order to make it as safe as possible, because I think you're making an impact. If there are no other questions for the superintendent, we'll move on to the liaison reports. We did have a Plan Commission liaison report, but there was nothing pertaining to the Park Board. Port Authority, Mr. Freeze.
They had a meeting last week, but nothing for us.
Thank you. And Zoo Society, Mr. Lang.
there were several things from the Zoological Society, and Jamie, you can correct me if I'm wrong on these. At the last meeting, and you were there explaining some things, one of these that I have down here is that Lowe's is coming in to do some project work for the zoo. The Coast Guard came in for a volunteer day on the 12th. You were meeting with some local welders who are willing to come and do some work, which is awesome. And you had also mentioned that the Zoological Association of America is going through the accreditation. So zoo is a lot of things going on there. Also, another thing, and some of you, I'm sure all of you are familiar with this, but I will just give you just a brief synopsis. On October the 19th, 2019, the Washington Park Zoo is once again putting on its annual Halloween event, Boo at the Zoo. This is a safe, unique setting for Halloween trick-or-treating and celebration for families from Michigan City and surrounding areas, and we are expecting over 3,000 guests this year, which is an awful lot of kids. Due to large crowds, we will be offering sessions to avoid long lines and keep everyone safe. There's a session 1 with the gates open from 11:30 to 1:30 for trick-or-treating, and the zoo then closes at 2 p.m. Session 2, the gates open at 3:30 till 5:30 for trick-or-treating, and the zoo then closes at 6 p.m. There are sponsorships available, and tickets for this event, because it is a fundraiser with all of the benefits directly going to feed the Washington Park Zoo animals. The adults 16 and up are $4. Children 2 to 15 are $5. Members are free. And there'll be more information about this as far as sponsorships. But again, that's an activity that last year, if I remember correctly, the second event took a direct hit because the weather was absolutely horrible. So this year, if the weather gods are with us, everything will be fine. So that is something to look forward to, and the little kids enjoy that immensely. But that's a lot of youngsters at the zoo. And that's the end.
Thank you, Mr. Lang.
You're welcome.
Next on the agenda is the attorney's report. Attorney Pichardo.
I don't have anything to report tonight.
Thank you. Any director's reports tonight?
No, sir.
All right, we'll move right on to department finances. Mr. Lang.
All right. Michigan City Park Department claims docket for July the 24th, 2019. Total claims amounting to $91,640.01. And I make a motion that we pay the claims docket.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Payroll number 15 for 2019, dates June the 30th, 2019 to July 13, 2019. Pay date July the 19th of 2019. Total payroll of $95,741.41. And I move that we meet this payroll.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Under gifts and donations, none at this time. Under minor transfers, a decrease, vacation buyback, $2,567. An increase, contractual, $2,567. So those are things that are contractual, but I would make a motion that we do agree to the vacation buyback and contractual amounts of $2,567.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Under zoo endowment, there is nothing at this time. Under board of works, there is nothing at this time. Credit card charges totaling $873 were paid to Walmart, $112.56, miscellaneous supplies for City Kids Day Camp, Amazon.com, $154, miscellaneous supplies for lifeguards, lifeguard store, $79.61, suits for male lifeguards, eBay, $260.99, money counter for parking office, S&S Worldwide, $155.14, miscellaneous supplies for City Kids Day Camp, Smart Sign, $110.70, emergency and authorized vehicles only signs. Again, this totals $873 on credit card charges, and I so move that we make that payment.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Lang. Any comments tonight from the public? Seeing none. Any comments from the park board? Anyone?
I'd like to make a comment. I'd like to congratulate the park board on the passing of the resolution for Carl Swenson. Again, not to be redundant, but I really feel honored to having spent a lot of years coaching against Carl and some years working with him. He was just a tremendous teacher and coach for young people in Michigan City. He set a good example. I mean, we all, as coaches, have our moments, but he was really always positive towards the kids. Thanks again for passing that resolution.
Thank you, Phil. Any other comments? Hearing none, our next meeting. Oh, I'd just like to phrase just good luck over the next week or two. With everything you're about to. I'm sure you'll do great, like always. Our next meeting is Wednesday, August 7th, 2019, at 5 p.m. right here. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
You're